Okay, well, the world is a bit different these days, but one constant out there for you is going to be the Neishloss podcast. I know. The Neishloss podcast now moves on to yet another edition here. I am your host, Mike Asti, and for this show, I am going to be joined by Ashley Richert, who is the sales manager with Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia, dealing a lot with brokers there for Highmark. So that is a major brand name, certainly here in Western Pennsylvania. There's a stadium named after it down there in Station Square. So I'm sure people are familiar with the name, with what kind of they're doing, but we're going to dive into it further. And to do that, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Ashley Richert, the sales manager with Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So also down there in West Virginia, not too far. I went to college down there at WVU, so I'm familiar with that area as well, dealing with brokers. Ashley, I know this is probably a time where you're potentially busier and dealing with a lot more things than you normally are, and with everyone working from home and the world kind of a little different right now. But we definitely appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with us.
Absolutely, Mike. Glad to
Now,
be here.
I will get things started with, as I said, Highmark is a major brand name. Everyone kind of at least has heard of Highmark. It's certainly well known, and it's trusted in Western Pennsylvania for it being known, but also for what it's done in the marketplace and what it's done kind of in general for a long time now. What do you think is one of the major reasons why, though? Why is Highmark such a trusted and well known product line, aside from just the fact that there's a stadium named after it and the marketing? Why do you think people trust the name Highmark so much?
Yeah, Mike. So, as you said, you see our name everywhere, but why is it that Highmark has been such a constant presence? When we think back, Highmark has been around in Western Pennsylvania and in the other markets that we serve
Wow.
for over 80 years. While other carriers may have left the market, Highmark has been a reliable option for a lot of our Medicare beneficiaries since even before the inception of Part D in 2006. So we were offering a security blue plan that's going all the way back to the 80s. We often hear our members when they think about Highmark or we ask them about their Highmark coverage, they say, I didn't want to choose anything else. My parents had Highmark. I had Highmark throughout my entire career. And now it just is a logical option to choose Highmark for my Medicare coverage. And when we think about Highmark, it's a trusted asset in all of the communities that we serve. Our members know that when they're picking a Highmark plan, that it's not the only resource, that we're not their only resource for when they're sick, but also we're a company that really strives to keep them healthy throughout their entire
Yeah,
lives.
I definitely think that's one of the major things. I mean, there's a few carriers that you've heard of that have been around the marketplace here in Western PA for a long time, which is where we're based out of as well. But Highmark has that trust of the people because not only they have been around so long, but they are willing to adapt continuously, and the product line is there. Now, in addition to Highmark just being so well known and being trusted, which is great as well, Highmark has developed a strong portfolio of plans that customers can choose from. Now, there's a lot, obviously, from what Highmark can offer, but if you just had to pick two, kind of what are two plans that are experiencing the highest growth and that consumers are the most interested in, at least recently, that you've seen as a highlight, kind of what Highmark's offering right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So this past year, we did launch a new product that's across the majority of Pennsylvania that's really seeing a lot of growth into it. This plan, which is our Community Blue Medicare
Okay.
PPO Signature Plan, is available throughout most of central and northeastern PA, and then also available in the northwestern region of Pennsylvania, so that Erie market, at
Wow.
a $0 premium. This product offers out of network benefits within the region and also nationwide through our Blue Card program, and has extremely competitive benefits, including PCP visits, whether they're in or out of the network, low specialist copays, which are exactly the same, whether they're in or out of the network, and then also offers per stay copays in the hospital and supplemental benefits like comprehensive dental, over the counter, and a lot more. When we think about our other product, which has been our most popular product over the last couple of years, specifically here in Southwest Pennsylvania, is our Community Blue Medicare HMO plan. Now, that plan is a great option for beneficiaries who use the Allegheny Health Network as one of their primary doctors, and where they go to the hospital, and then also local providers like the Butler Health System or Washington Hospital. They can use that. They're in network for that plan. It's still a $0 premium plan and offers affordable copays for other services. And again, those supplemental benefits that we all hear about, the dental, hearing aid benefits, silver sneakers, over the counter medication. And we find that a lot of our members, especially here in the Southwest region, find that this is the best option for their health insurance.
Yeah, it definitely appears there's a lot going on with Highmark, and when you talk about silver sneakers and those type of brand names, I mean Highmark not only has a brand name in and of themselves, but they're able to offer other brand names that clients are very familiar with. So not only are they getting something they're comfortable with and familiar with, but also they're getting a solid plan. And a lot of the time we talk to a lot of our agents when they're dealing with a carrier or a brand name that the clientele is not as familiar with, no matter what it's offering, they're going to struggle to be able to hit that home with the client, and that's obviously not going to be a problem that Highmark's going to have to deal with, especially when you're adding silver sneakers and you have all that at your disposal. And this I knew when we were starting this podcast series, we had to, especially with us being here in Western PA based as well, that we had to talk Highmark. We had to get a Highmark rep involved here because of the brand name, and that's kind of what a lot of the customers and the clients are looking for anyway. Now, looking at a deeper dive into your plans, out of everything you offer, and you mentioned two of your major plans that are having growth right now and people are interested in, what do you think is the most attractive benefit that agents should make sure to discuss with their clients? Because I'm sure you talk with a lot of agents, and we do too, and you're aware that agents, especially who are really knowledgeable and been in the market for a while, they may get really excited and overzealous and want to bring up everything under the sun that this amazing plan with this amazing brand name offers, but clients aren't going to necessarily digest it all. They're not going to want to sit there for 3 hours with you potentially. Some may not. And you're not going to be able to get everything out that you want to say. So if there's something that you feel they must get out there, they must convey no matter what would that be?
Yeah, Mike, I think it's hard to pinpoint just one benefit since Medicare beneficiaries, across our region really value different parts of the plan. Some of our most popular plans, the two I just talked about, they have $0 premiums or very low premiums, $0 PCP copays across the board, the low prescription copays, and the in and out of network benefits, which is really great on that PPO option. And then, of course, the low inpatient stays that are copay versus a per day payment. Now, I always recommend when we think, we talk to the agents, you want to start with the client's provider list. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Making sure that their providers are in the network, or if they have out of
Yeah,
network
sure.
benefit options,
Yep.
they can narrow it down to a couple plan options that might fit their best overall needs. And then we want to look at some of the other benefits that might be of value to them that they know that they're definitely going to be using throughout the year. Things like prescription copays. If you're on a maintenance medication, it's going to be something you're getting every 30 days or every 90 days, and that's a fixed cost at this point. Any scheduled surgeries that they might be having, if they have to have PT, after the surgery, and then the frequency of their PCP and specialist visits. And then we really want to look at some of those additional supplementals that I talked about, comprehensive dental benefits, what they're going to pay for new glasses, how frequently they can get those new glasses. The hearing aid benefit, Highmark is extremely strong in the hearing aid market, and it's a copay versus just a small reimbursement. So if somebody knows that they're going to need hearing aids every 2 years, then this is a great option for them. This benefit's not limited to an every 3 calendar year. And of course, we have silver sneakers and OTC. And then I think you also want to look at additional factors, specifically like the inpatient hospital copay. Really should be reviewed with members because they don't want any surprises throughout the year. If something does arise and they have an emergency situation where they need to go into the hospital, I think it's a really good peace of mind for them to know I've chosen a plan where I have a fixed dollar amount I'm paying, regardless of whether I'm in for 3 days or I'm in for 15.
And yes, there's a lot to talk about, a lot that's being offered, but I definitely think those are major things that agents do need to hit on. And hopefully, if they aren't hitting on it, they're going to be hitting on it now. From listening to this show and from talking to you, and I'm sure the agents that you speak with, you make sure that they do hit on it. Now, as much as Highmark has a brand name, and as much as that being in the market in that brand name and that 80-year stretch that Highmark has, especially in Western PA, with comfortability for clients, and as much as that brand name is going to take you far, and then you have plans that offer so much, as great as all that is, there's always going to be some challenges. There's always going to be some negatives that either a competitor is doing something that a carrier is not, which might be harder to find with iMark since they're doing everything, or just maybe something that clients bring up that maybe you've noticed that they try to bring up almost to be negative, even if they're not, meaning to be, or if it's necessarily not a valid topic. But what are one of the, some of the biggest challenges that you have noticed that agents deal with when they're speaking about Highmark and when they're trying to sell Highmark, and how do you offer a suggestion to overcome it? Because negatives are going to be brought up, even if maybe they shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about some of the challenges that we're facing, let's skip over the obvious at first. We're obviously seeing a lot of challenges with the issue of the coronavirus right now. But aside from that, our agents, especially here in Western Pennsylvania, have faced some challenges with the confusion over UPMC access
Yeah.
and out of network coverage. We've seen a lot of confusion and, quite honestly, frustration in the market over the last couple years with the threat of UPMC leaving the network for all of our Highmark's Medicare plans. We've made some changes based on the threat of that possibly happening, and we added out of network benefits to our Security Blue HMO plans, which are, like I said before, the plans that have been around since the 80s. We've enhanced our out of network benefits on our Freedom Blue plan to help transition as well. Um, and then in addition, we launched a low cost Community Blue PPO, Community Blue Medicare PPO, that has out of network access to UPMC and out of area. And we actually launched that a couple of years ago. We have seen a lot more membership in that plan. We've seen them using UPMC out of network, and we haven't had any issues. But for this year, starting in 2020, we did make significant enhancements to that plan and did see a drastic increase in the number of beneficiaries who were selecting it for the 2020 calendar year. At the beginning of the year, and luckily it has subsided, but we were hearing a lot of issues with UPMC providers. They just weren't understanding the out of network plan benefits for this year. So we've taken a lot of steps over the last couple of months now, about last 3 months here, to make sure we were, if we were needing to, outreach directly to the providers individually. We were working directly with the UPMC's leadership to make sure that that message was cascaded down throughout the organization. And we've also worked on creating some broker education and member-facing education materials that those members can actually just print and take right to the provider and say, here's some information about my plan. Here's who to call if you have questions. And I think that that's really subsided some of those issues over the last couple weeks, or at least a month now. We haven't heard a lot coming through. We do still hear every once in a while that there is still some provider confusion. So, we do suggest that the brokers distribute that material to their agents and say, or to their clients, excuse me, to let them know that this is something that they can take to the provider. And then if the agent does continue to see issues with a certain provider or across the board, we do suggest that they reach out to their local broker representative who can continue to work through
And
that
that's
issue.
kind of, oh, go
Now, if
ahead.
we're taking a step
Go
back
ahead.
here, well, I was just going to talk about some other challenges, sure, that we're facing right now due to the COVID-19. Obviously, that's a big topic in the market right now. And we did not previously have an ability for brokers to assist with telephonic enrollments. So we
Okay.
launched that just yesterday, where clients can actually call in. We suggest that the broker calls in with a conference call and allows the beneficiary to complete the enrollment telephonically, and we're still giving the agent credit. And then, of course, we still have the option for the client to mail in the application directly, or they can go online and do an application. Still going to do a phone consultation with the agent. The beneficiary goes online, completes the enrollment application, And then we just ask for a couple pieces of information from the agent and we give them credit as well. So, we're working through the ways that we can do more telephonic consultations and make sure that our brokers are still out there, still receiving credit for the work they're
And
doing.
that's really the elephant in the room that obviously everyone's going to be wondering that I was going to actually get to. So you took it out of my mouth. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's a major thing that I'm sure that agents and clients and everyone's going to kind of be worrying about with how the world is changing and what's going on right now and the uncertainty around COVID-19 and the coronavirus and people not really able to have that face-to-face interaction that the Medicare industry had been so comfortable with and so familiar with between agent and client. And I'll even get to later on here as we close the program, kind of a ways around that and what we can do with an online enrollment tool here at Neishloss and Fleming that we offer. But I think the other elephant in the room there is the relationship and maybe the confusion between Highmark and UPMC and knowing and not getting into it, but knowing the kind of years of that relationship and the ebbs and flows there. So I'm definitely glad you brought that up because I'm sure there is still some people confused by that and it's just needing to make sure they're aware of the message and needing to make sure that that is a situation that you guys are aware of and you're doing the best you can to make sure that the out of network can happen for them and that they're aware of that now with that relationship ever growing. So I think that's a great thing and you guys are willing to actually take the measures of even directly communicating this if some people aren't as aware and aren't is in tune with the news or social media or different ways where that message has definitely been conveyed a lot in the last few months. But I think that's a major thing that I'm sure people listening are glad to hear, whether it be an agent or a client, and we definitely get all of that in terms of the mix here that can be helped by this, and then the listening base. So definitely appreciate you mentioning that. I definitely think that's a big deal there. Now, just kind of as we move around and kind of we close the program here, and again, speaking with Ashley Richert, the sales manager with Highmark, Western PA, West Virginia, dealing with the brokers. Definitely appreciate your time, Ashley. Now you've worked with Neishloss and Fleming in the past. I know you spoke with some of my colleagues in the past. I know you spoke with Jesse a lot in terms of the relationship between Neishloss and Highmark, and just what are your thoughts in terms of out of FMOs you've dealt with and the role of Neishloss and Fleming in terms of your relationship that you've noticed, at least personal experience between what Neishloss is offering and is offering, and the relationship between Neishloss and Highmark.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up because you had already mentioned a little bit about the telephonic the
Right.
online enrollment platform, and I think that's really one of the big benefits of agents working with Neishloss and Fleming. They get a differentiated experience that they may not have from some other FMOs in the market. The first being the online enrollment platform, and during these uncertain times, it's
Yeah.
really a great asset that Neishloss has for their agents to be able to continue to conduct business and earn additional income when a lot of other people, might be laid off or might not be able to be as comfortable doing a face to face. In addition, Neishloss and Fleming really provides significant marketing and lead generation opportunities to their agents, which we as a carrier really find very valuable. For an agency to be doing that for their agents. And then I can't say enough good things about the team of employees that Neishloss has that are really dedicated to enhancing their agent experience by working as a liaison between the agent and their carrier partners like
And
Highmark.
I think that's kind of really the goal of all of us at Neishloss in terms of making it easier on the reps, making it easier on the agents, and making sure the client and the customer can get what they need and can be served properly. And the easier we make it on the agent, on the reps, etc., will then only trickle down and make it easier on the client to get exactly what they need. So I think that all makes sense. And I know we pride ourselves on our service and on making that relationship as easy as possible and on building those relationships, which are definitely necessary in this business. And you mentioned the online enrollment platform that is called Medicare Center, medicarecenter.com, spelled like it sounds. And yeah, as Ashley mentioned, that's an online enrollment tool that you can use it kind of it's kind of a mix of all the carrier online enrollment platforms as well as Medicare.gov in the past, all together in one. And you can use it with MA carriers and PDPs. You can use the quote engine there. You can look up prescription drugs. You can look up doctors. You can store profiles, which I think is really nice because once you put a profile in there, it stays in there. You don't have to put it in 6 months again when AEP rolls around. It'll stay in there for you. And the beauty right now with COVID-19 and with the stay-at-home orders, and you can do this all year round, but certainly right now, is that it's an online enrollment platform. So you're just clicking on the plan, you send an email to the client, they can look at it there, it's CMS regulated, and if they happen to not have an email, you can send it to a grandson or granddaughter, son or daughter, wife, whoever's email, and that would definitely suffice. You can do scope of appointments there on Medicare Center. So right now, especially, Ashley hit on it perfectly. Medicare Center is a major advantage to agents who want to continue their business with the fact that they just can't meet people face to face, and that it's really just now going to be an online type of business as this rolls, as well as phone calls. And in addition to Medicare Center and our service, we have another program we're running right now that's relatively new called Greenhouse. That I'm not sure if you got to check out yet, but that's on our website, our NandFinc.com. Greenhouse is there, and it's a rewards program for agents that work with us where they're able to get different points and different incentives for completing different tasks. And they can be as mundane as setting up a profile or as much as getting a certain amount of sales and different types of promotions and leads, etc. And you can actually kind of get cash for that. You can get Amazon gift cards and other items that actually can provide even more of an incentive in addition to your commission for the agents who are working with us and who may want to work with us in the future. We have an in-house graphic designer who can help you make business cards, help you really make anything you want out there, billboards, whatever, posters, anything that wants to advertise for you, especially if you're going into a business or a different event that hopefully can happen at some point in the future when the world goes back to normal. And we also have a guy that helps us with social media. So we have a guy that we have a relationship with that gives a really, really heavy discount to any agent working with us at Neishloss and Fleming. And we're doing a lot with social media, obviously, with our company, and this podcast is part of it. But he actually will work with the agent directly, learn them, learn their personality, learn their business, help them create a website, create the social media platforms, or maintain what's already in existence. And that's really a heavy discount by working with us here at Neishloss. So, yeah, Ashley, I'm glad you brought up Medicare Center. I'm glad you're aware of that as well. And hope you're talking about that with your agents who are with us or maybe considering it, because as we know, I mean, with the stay-at-home order in place, especially for maybe agents who weren't used to working with online enrollment platforms and just liked meeting face-to-face, you can't do it now. So it really makes sense to get used to Medicare Center, to utilize Medicare Center, and then you can have it be a tool at your disposal for clients that maybe are a little too far for you, but maybe you have a license in that state as well. So Medicare Center is definitely big right now, but certainly can be utilized all year long. Ashley, what I'm going to do, and I kind of throw a little off the cuff here, usually at the end of these podcasts, to almost as a thank you to the reps for joining us. Just anything else that you have in terms of any final words or any words of wisdom or any advice that you want to provide here. The floor kind of is yours now as we get towards closing this one off. So once again, thanks for joining us.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the time today and really do appreciate the opportunity to be out here and be able to talk directly to the agents and to the clients as well. Just want to reiterate that, we've had some challenges in the past over the last couple of years. Highmark is continuing to make some improvements in their product line and will continue to do so for years to come. So if you, for some reason, had to leave Highmark over the last couple of years and you're considering coming back to us, I think taking a look at what we're offering right now and what we might be offering in 2021 is going to be a great option for both our agents who may have stopped writing Highmark or may not write it as much as they used to, and for your clients who really want that backing of a product and a plan that is going to be reliable and a great option
Couldn't
for them
have
in the
said it better
market.
myself. I definitely agree with you there. So again, Ashley Richert, sales manager with West Virginia and Western Pennsylvania, dealing with the brokers there with Highmark. Highmark's a brand name that everyone certainly in this area is familiar with, but they are so much more than just a brand name. And Ashley was able to articulate that for us here on this edition of the Neishloss podcast. I'm your host, Mike Asti. Until we meet again.